Hello, my name is Marc Davenport, and welcome to Straight to the Top, a program committed to bringing you quality information for your personal and career development. We've got a great show today. Our topic is helping your child be successful in school. And to explain this debate, I have two very special guests. On my immediate left, Mrs. Lisa Simon, Executive Director of Reading Assist Institute. And on my far left, Roberta Davenport, head of school, head of the Waterside Academy located in Stamford, Connecticut. Lisa, Roberta, welcome to Straight to the Top.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies, we've got a lot of information today to discuss and not a lot of time. How about we just get right into the heart of the matter? Lisa, who is Reading Assist? What is your mission?
Reading Assist is a private nonprofit organization founded here in Delaware with a mission to help children unlock the written word.
Excellent. Roberta, who is the Waterside Academy? What is your mission?
The Waterside School was just recently founded. It is a leadership academy, and it was designed for low-income children of above average ability.
Okay. Both of you have years in the field of education. Lisa, what is the broad purpose or mission of school?
The purpose of school, from my perspective, is to help children gain academic skills that they need to become productive citizens. It socializes children so that they know how to act in communities. And it provides them with a window to a much broader framework of understanding than our personal experiences would allow.
Okay. Roberta, what would you care to add to that?
That school, one of the purposes of school that I believe is important is to give children the tools to become educated so that they can move toward independence as they learn how to learn. And schools are an important setting to teach children how to achieve that kind of independence, especially in today's world.
Excellent. Let's get into the heart. Partnership between teachers and parents for the good of the child. There's a lot of debate here between the role of the parent and the role of the teacher. Define that. How do you describe that relationship, Roberta, between the parent and the teacher?
You know, the first social environment for a child is the family, right? And we know how important the family is to the balanced growth and development of the child. The child's going to be successful in life. We know that much of that is attributed to what happens in the family. The second most important experience for the child is what happens in the school. So if the family, who's so instrumental in making sure that children are successful, works together as a partner with the school, which is also so very important in how it influences or impacts on children, the two must work together on behalf of the child to make sure that the child has what he or she needs to be successful in life. Education, we know, is so important for children because Lisa talked earlier about the self-esteem that's built when children are successful in school, when they have opportunities to learn how to learn in a supportive environment.
Okay.
Well, the home situation, of course, is providing the same kinds of experiences. So it's very, very important that the parents see the school as an opportunity to build successful partnerships on behalf of children so that children can become successful.
Lisa?
I think parents can do a lot to help their children get ready for school. Their very attitudes that school is a wonderful nurturing place and an extension of the family values would be a beginning place. Parents need to send their children to school ready to learn with the attitude that the child is going to be successful. The child needs to understand his responsibilities in being cooperative and attentive to what the teacher is doing, and to understand that his family is going to be in close communication with his teachers and the people at the school so that together the family and the school will look out for the child's best interest academically and socially so that the child can be successful.
What are some of the activities, Lisa, that parents should be actively involved in at school on their child's behalf?
Well, I think that parents can do a lot at home first
Okay.
to help the child develop language skills. My expertise is in reading, and I know that there are many things that families can do to help their children be ready to learn to read. We've all heard that it's important to read aloud to our children, and indeed it is. Children need to understand that books can transport them to places beyond the home and the community. They need to understand that books are full of words, and words are made of letters, and letters stand for sounds. And by the very act of reading to your child, to make sure that he understands that what you're saying is coming from the printed page, helps the child to make a connection and to be eager to learn to read when he arrives to school and is being taught how to read.
Roberta, my daughter turns 5 in November. Her first day at a new school is in 3 weeks. The school has expectations on my daughter. What expectations should I have on the school?
Well, you want to know that the people who are teaching your children are credentialed, that they have gone through a teacher education program, that they understand what good instruction looks like, that they understand what content looks like, what to teach, that they understand child development, that they understand that children come to school rich with background experiences. And I'll give you a quick example. I was sitting down with my 4-year-old niece this morning, and we were with a book. She sat between my legs. She pulled her favorite book, and she wouldn't allow me to read. She said, "No, I'm going to do the reading." But in watching her, she knew how to hold the book. Now, she's 4. She knew how to hold the book. She knew which direction to turn the book. She knew to turn pages. It was an anthology, so she had to find her favorite story within that, and she had strategies for being able to do that. You see? She was able to look at the picture to tell the story, but she also knew that the words meant something, and so she began pointing at words and reading some of the words. And so teachers, good teachers, must be able to look at children who are just at the beginning stages of learning to read and write, and to observe these kinds of things, because now this is a child who's getting ready to read. In fact, she's playing at reading, which is an important developmental characteristic of children who are just getting ready to go. So teachers need to be able to pay attention to what children bring to school in terms of what their knowledge is about reading and its close cousin, writing, and on the basis of that, be able to plan and implement some wonderful instruction that will move the child forward. But with that, I just want to stress the importance of assessment, that in terms of what you as the parent can expect from your child's school at the point that she goes in, and I would say this to every parent whose child is beginning school, to be sure that the school appreciates what the child is coming in with, and the best way to document that is to do some sort of an assessment of what the child already knows and what the child is trying to know, so that instruction is powerful for the child.
Let's move on. Excellent, excellent points. We're going to take a break for a minute. We have a very important announcement. I want the audience to stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Mark started his investment career on Wall Street in 1985, and he would like to share his business philosophy with you. To provide goal-oriented financial planning and investment advice for investors who do not have the time or the experience to do so efficiently for themselves. A sound financial plan should take into account your investment goals, risk tolerance, and time horizon. It is also important to maintain realistic expectations based on the market's historical performance rather than unprecedented returns of the recent bull market. My commitment always has and always will be to take the best care possible of all your hard-earned assets. To schedule an appointment with Marc E Davenport, please call his assistant Tammy Bolden at area code 302-683-3629 or send your email to markedavenport@prusec.com. The Reading Assist Institute is a nonprofit organization located in a community service building in the heart of Wilmington. Reading Assist trains teachers and volunteer tutors in the multi-sensory structured language curriculum that helps children unlock the printed word. They have a free lending library for parents and teachers and a website, www.readingassist.org, for more information. To learn more about Reading Assist Institute and how the multi-sensory approach can help your child learn to read, write, and spell, attend their free open house this Thursday, August 23rd from 4 to 6 p.m. Space is limited. Call area code 302-425-4080 for more information.
Welcome back to Straight to the Top. Lisa, problems at the school. What do parents need to do? What's the process, the procedure, if your child is having problems?
Well, the parent is really dependent upon the school to help her understand when there's a problem going on with the child. If a child is not learning to read as we would expect, then that needs to be brought to the parent's attention. And the parent has to search for information regarding the difficulty. When a child has come from a language-rich environment and a home that has supported education and feels that it's important, and then stumbles and fails or falls down in that process, we need to look for the reason why. And we need to go to educators. We need to depend upon them to lead us in the right direction. We need to make sure that the teacher explains terms that we may not be familiar with. In my own case, my husband and I have 4 sons, and one of them was unable to learn how to read. It was a frightening experience to go through as a parent as well as for the child, because he was aware of the expectations we had for him. So we were very dependent upon the school for help, and we were fortunate to find a woman who was able to tutor our son in a multisensory structured language program. And that was really the foundation for Reading Assist. We've believed all these years that this kind of instruction should be available to all children, and it should be something that every teacher has in her toolbox of skills that she can bring to the teaching situation for children who learn differently.
How old is your son now?
He's now 22 and has graduated from college.
So he went from having difficulty learning how to read to graduating from college.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think it's important to realize that all children can learn, and families are dependent upon the educators to help them find those tools that are effective with their particular children.
Okay. Roberta, problems arising at school. You come from one of the largest, if not the largest, educational system in the country, the New York City Board of Ed. Talk to us about that. Share your experiences with us.
Well, it's very interesting because one of the things that I have found with children who are struggling is the importance of the family making sure that they're involved in the life of the school, because that's where their child is spending so many hours of the day. It goes back to the partnership that we were talking about earlier. And as soon as a child is old enough to move into the educational system, it's important that the parents are up, meeting the principal, meeting the administrators, meeting the teachers, looking at the curriculum, looking at how children are being taught, looking at homework, so that the school is aware that the parent is interested. Now, you know that public schools educate, or is responsible for educating large numbers of children. If the parent is not making themselves available to the school and being known to the school, then in many cases that may lead to children also just falling through the cracks, especially if these children are weak academically. So it's important, I can't stress that enough, that parents make it their business to be up at the school. The second thing I would strongly urge parents to do is to make education important in the lives of their children and to establish education as a priority in the life of the child. That's your job, and you're expected to do well, so set the expectations there. Many parents do that. Many parents need encouragement to do that, because if you look at children who are not doing well, and too many children are not doing well, sometimes that's because the expectation that they go in prepared, on time, coming to school every day with the right attitude for learning. That carries through to the home by making sure that the child has a space identified at home, in the apartment, in the house, where the child knows this is where my homework or my schoolwork gets done, and that the child has the appropriate tools, instructional tools, the atlas, the ruler, the compass, the pens, the pencils, the paper, and that that child is able to go into that area and focus and get the idea, the understanding that this is a priority and this is important, and the expectation is that you will spend a block of time studying and working in this area. And if children are helped to establish these habits early on, then it stays with the child through all of their life. I'm not going to simplify the educational process, because we know every child is an individual. As Lisa said, every child learns differently. But it is so important for the parent and the school to work together. And I would encourage parents not to be intimidated by this bureaucratic system of education, because the people who are teaching their children need to know that the true experts, the people who know children best, are the parents.
You know, that's a good point. You both have made some very good observations. My daughter, again, coming back to her, starts a new school in a few weeks. I called the school last week and I introduced myself as Jenna's father. What items will my daughter need on the first day of school? Tell me about sleeping time. What sort of materials do I need to bring for my daughter? Is she sleeping on a mat? What is she sleeping on? How can we be prepared so that on the first day of school, my daughter is going with the flow of the classroom? Now, question for the two of you. We've talked about, and perhaps the emphasis on this discussion for the moment has been on children wanting to learn and having difficulty doing that. Let's do a 180 and let's address, how do you deal with the child that's having behavioral problems at the school and thus is failing, not paying attention, cutting up in class? How does the parent, how does the teacher partner together on this critical issue that makes the news every day? How do we deal with this, Lisa?
Well, I think you have to look beneath the behavior at what's motivating the child. Sometimes children are doing this because it's an avoidance issue. If I'm having trouble learning to read, maybe it's safer for me to get into trouble and be dismissed from the class than humiliated by being asked to read out loud something that I cannot do. That could be one reason. There could be a lot of reasons why children are misbehaving, but I think we need to look beyond the behavior, deeper into the child, to try to understand what's driving that kid at that moment.
Are you saying that this is the behavior is a symptom for a much greater problem?
I think it could be. I think that that's something that the parent and the teacher have to look at together. The parent's not going to know that's going on unless there's communication from the teacher who's reporting that, and together they need to put their heads together and say, what are we as a team going to do to address this child? I can do some things at home as a parent. Roberta is the staff person at school who can do some things, and we need to keep in close touch until this child works through this. If it's a learning difference, if it's a problem with the academics, the parent is going to need the teacher to help address that. If it's a situation that's disturbing the child from home, then I as a parent have got to take responsibility for dealing with that.
May just follow
Sure.
up with that? I think what's very important, too, in what Lisa's saying, is that the school has to see the parent as the expert. No one knows that child better than that parent. And if behavior is emerging in the classroom that is inappropriate, then it's very important that the child not be blamed and that the family not be blamed, but that the family be